So you're thinking about moving to the villages? Well, in this video, I'm going to break the villages down so you can decide if moving to the villages is going to be the best move you ever made or the worst decision of moving to the villages. Let's have a look. Let's go. I recently did a video about the villages and I had a lot of people reach out to us wanting to know more about the villages, and they just wanted to see if villages is going to be the dream retirement or a major regret. So I decided that I'm going to do a video a lot more in depth, because some of the questions that I kept on getting were very generic, but something that you really need to know. Hey, what is it like living there? What are the issues, or why should I move there? Why shouldn't I move? So I decided I'm going to do a very in-depth analysis for the villages so you can see if this lifestyle is going to be best for you, or if you are probably better off living in a better suburban area, get more bang for your buck, and then come to the villages, enjoy everything that villages has to offer without having the restrictions that the villages have. So in this video, we're going to talk about the good, bad, ugly, and everything in between, so you can decide if this is something you want to do or not. So let's get into this. So what makes villages so popular, and why so many people every single year move to the villages? And if it is so popular, then why so many people also move out of the villages? This is where I want to talk about a lot of things. And at the end of the day, I want to just give you a quick disclaimer. It's not about being right or wrong. It's more about what works for you, the lifestyle that you crave once you retire, and it is about everything that villages has to offer and everything that villages doesn't offer. So something that you have to decide what will work for you, what will not work for you. And for no, it's just not just a small town. It's a city by itself with over 130,000 people, with over 50 plus golf courses in the villages and over 2,500 plus clubs. The villages has become the ultimate social hub for active adults, while some feels that they are kind of boxed in because of everything that they have to follow and do. And the number one reason for people moving to the villages is the 50 plus free access to executive golf courses for the residents, golf cart path, and as you can see behind me, you have the golf store, and then you have a lot of golf course. This is a very golf course or a golf cart friendly neighborhood. Now moving along into the next reason why people prefer to move to the villages. If you are the social bee in the household, then this is a perfect place. With over 2,500 social clubs, there's always something for you to do, whether that be photography, whether that be a chess, whether that be golf, whether that be anything. There are so many things to do that you will never have a dull moment, especially if you are alone and you're looking for that companionship, trying to find people within your same age group and just to kind of mingle. And now that you are retired, you just want to enjoy life and have the fruits of your labor, then this is perfect, because there's so many things. You have weekly movies, you have clubs, you have chess clubs, you have even theater. And one of the residents told me that they have made friends in 2 months, good friends in 2 months, than they had in the place that they lived for 20 plus years. Now, talking about this also leads into the nightly entertainment. So with the nightly entertainment, with any of the villages area, you can go to the Spanish, you can go to the north side, the south side, or the central. There's always live music in the late afternoon, early evening. If you love music and dancing, then this is perfect. You also have a lot of festival lights throughout the year as things come and go for the whole year. And that is another big draw for people to move to the villages. No snow, no icy walkways, no slip and fall, just a beautiful blue sky. I'm shooting this kind of at the beginning of summer, so it is hot and it will get hotter, but the point is that you have a beautiful weather, and it's Florida, so you're going to have a really nice weather. If you love the outdoor living, you want to go for a run, you want to do other things outdoor wise, And not to mention, if you're especially coming from that Northeast, where every single year, I can't tell you how many people we have helped relocate to Central Florida and deep suburban Central Florida area. They're like, oh my God, when every year we think about moving because we don't want to shovel snow and all that. And they are finally here enjoying the outside, the 4th of July barbecue, or just a beautiful, nice outing with the family on a Thanksgiving, or just enjoying the beautiful weather. So this is something that you have to keep in mind. But then on the other hand, if Christmas is not Christmas up until it's white in terms of the snow, then this may be something that you really want to reconsider because it's hot and it's humid. Hi, so are you thinking about moving to any part of sunny Central Florida? Well, me and my team have created this great relocation guide. We have helped hundreds of people move to beautiful sunny Central Florida, and this is going to save you a number of hours. So make sure you scan the QR code that you see on the screen right now, and we look forward to connect with you and help you move to beautiful sunny Central Florida. With no state income tax and no state tax, along with lower property taxes compared to the Northeast, when you look at that, your money goes further and you have gated communities to provide more security, and you also have private security. Residents often state that they feel comfortable walking just down the road, and this is something that a lot of people, especially when they are retired, consider as one of the most important factors when they move. When it comes to the HOA and the amenities, the average median HOA prices is about $189 a month over here. There's a lot of activities that I mentioned before, so all of this kind of ties into that sense of security, the sense of belonging, and being among the peers, which is one of the major reasons also that a lot of people move to the villages. So if villages is so great, you have one of the best golf courses over here, your social calendar is full, taxes are low, safety, security, and everything else in between, then why do some people leave? And why do they regret moving to the villages in the first place? Well, that's the topic for a different video. Just kidding. I'm gonna go in depth because I spoke with the real sellers, and some of the reasons that they gave me were very surprising. So let's get into the reasons of why people choose to move out and why this is something that you really have to consider before you make a decision to move to the villages, because that is super important for you to be able to decide, this is exactly what I want to do, or no, I want to basically do my research and then make a decision that is strategic, but also based upon the information so you know what you're getting into it. So without further ado, let's get into it. So one of the main reasons that people decide to move or decide not to move to the villages is because it's an exclusive 55+ community. That means no kids, no young families, and no intergenerational living. And some people don't realize that before they get in. And as you kind of get younger day by day, you're probably going to miss your grandkids, or they're going to come and visit you. There are a lot of rules and regulations that you have to go by. So that is something that you really have to kind of keep in mind, because a lot of people that retire, most of them are retiring for kind of the quiet and peace that they want. They don't want to be in a school district. They don't want, kids running around doing their thing. So that is something that not a lot of people prefer, and that is something that your neighbors may not like. So if you love your grandkids and they visit you more often, then this is something that you really have to keep in mind. So in the end, it really matters that you have think this through. You have looked at, hey, what am I getting into? And if this is going to be that piece of paradise that I want in my retirement age, or this is something it's going to be a more headache and it's going to kind of put the golden handcuffs on me and it's not going to work. So what is it going to be? With over 49,000 HOA in state of Florida, the number one reason for people moving out of the villages is the HOA and its rules. Because imagine this, most of the population in the villages are retirees, and they got nothing better to do with all the Karens, both male and female, getting on the boat and just picking out every little thing which could be a nuisance for somebody, like things like no overnight street parking. You know, when you have visitors, most of the communities are gated, so you have to go through the whole HOA thing, get the permit and all that. The HOA fees alone, the minimum is $189 for most of the communities. Some of them are even higher depending upon the amenities that they give you. And if you are not going to use that, then that's the money that you're just throwing it away. So that is something. No RV boats or trailers that are allowed or needs to be visible from the home. So they say it in a way because the state law doesn't allow, like the state law allows you to have the RV and boats as long as they are not visible from your next door neighbor's room or next door neighbor's home, which is kind of very difficult to do. You can't just hide it, and with the lot size not being a big lot, it is going to be very difficult. So some people feel that they are policed, and though some of the rules are there to protect so that your neighbor just doesn't decide to have farm animals and start raising chickens and goats. However, it is just the simplest of the things, such as the garbage that you have that is staying out, and next thing you know, the HOA signs you a citation or something. So this is the number one reason why people kind of get fed up. They feel like they're being babysat into every little thing. So this is something that you have to really consider, that you are going to be okay. And before you go into the villages, you want to make sure that you read all the rules. Something that seems very trivial may not be trivial for them, and with all the Karens, like I mentioned, and I apologize, please don't be offended, but this is the reality, because some people have nothing else to do but just to police and make that their life goal, because they're retired and they want to make sure that John, Susie, and whoever is living next door is following every single rule, and that could be a problem. Now, moving along into the next reason for why people move out of the villages, or in the first place never get into Florida. As much as I love doing these videos, what I love the most is helping families move to Central Florida. So if you've been thinking about making that move, whether it's now, a week from now, or a month, me and my team has helped countless families move to Florida. So let's start a conversation. My information is right up there. We look forward to connect to you. Back to the video. So can you handle the heat? Well, when I started this morning, it was beautiful, nice and sunny, and I was just melting. And that is something to keep in mind. It doesn't really matter if you move to the villages or anywhere else. Something that you really have to consider is the weather. Now, I talked about it as a biggest reason for people to move, but at the same time, it is also the biggest reason for people to move out, not necessarily for the villages, but in general, the weather itself. And with the nice, hot, humid weather, there comes all the wildlife, snakes, lizards, geckos, all kind of stuff, and not to mention alligators. So that is something to really consider before you make a decision to move, not only to the villages, as I said a couple of times now, but anywhere in Florida. So if going to the beach is one of your things when you decide to move to Florida, or to the villages for that matter, then that is something to consider, because there is not a beach nearby. The closest beach is about an hour and a half to 2 hours away. So if you want to be in Florida and you're like, hey, I want to be closer to the beach, then this may not necessarily be the right choice for you. The closest beach, such as the Daytona Beach or the Clearwater, you're looking at about an hour and a half to 2 hours drive. So there's no coastal views, no ocean breeze. You know, we do have a lot of lakes, which is fine, but if you are fond of that ocean lifestyle, then this is definitely something that would not work. And a lot of residents that you know, they're going to be closer, and driving an hour and a half and 2 hours is not a big deal, up until it was the time to drive an hour and a half to 2 hours. Now let's move along to the next point of why people are moving out of the villages. So if shopping and dining was one of the big things for you, then villages may not give you a lot of options, though they have quite a few options when it comes to the dining and the shopping part. But if you're looking for that fine dining and that great mall experience and whatnot, then this may not be the reason for you to move over here. It's not a foodie paradise as Central Florida, Orlando, or Tampa would be for that matter. And that is another thing that you really have to consider. I know it's a little reason, but this is something that some people have kind of, they just retired and they just want to go winter shopping, or they just want to go shopping, then this is something that you really have to consider before you make that move. Villages is a golf cart town and it is charming until it rains, unless you have a fully customized golf cart like the one over here with the wiper and everything, which costs you more money. However, if you don't drive, then this may not be ideal, because you not only need a golf cart, but you also need to have a car, because this place is not built. You can actually pretty much go from any place in the villages to any place in the villages that you want to go to. You could do that, but when it rains, and as they say it in Florida, when it rains, it pours. So this is something that you got to keep in mind. One of the owners that I spoke to told me it's all great. However, when you have to run errands, they're kind of spread out. So that is something that you really want to make sure that you plan for it. And if this is something that you do not want to do for whatever reason, then this may not be something that you want to consider. Maybe you want to be nearby, because it's pretty much open to anybody that can come in, enjoy. I'm at the Spanish Cove. You can also go to the Central Lake. You can do anything that you want, but you don't have to be a resident, because it's open to public too. Now, moving along to the next point of why this may not work for you. So when it comes to the infrastructure related to healthcare, it has a pretty good healthcare system in the villages. So your day-to-day, your day-to-day care and everything else, to a certain degree of specialty care, is pretty good in the villages. However, when it comes to super specialty, like if you're dealing through cancer or heart or a neuro or anything more intense, then you may have to kind of move to a much bigger city such as Orlando, Tampa, or Gainesville, because the more critical your issue is, you want to make sure that you have access to much more specialized health care, and traveling during that emergency could be an issue, because any of those big cities that I mentioned is a little bit further down. So that is something that you really kind of take into place. And as we get younger every single day, these are the things that you have to kind of look at it. So it's kind of nice that it has the social, everything that's going on. But this is something that if there is an underlying issue, then you may want to think twice before you move to the villages. So is the villages is going to be the paradise for you, or did I scare you enough that you are not going to move and it's a hell no? Well, whatever it is, as I mentioned before, it really depends upon your situation. What is that you really want to do? If you're more into that social and you know that you're going to have those activities that you're going to take full advantage of, you love golfing and everything is good, then this is great, and you don't mind the heat, then that's fantastic. However, if you feel kind of boxed in, as the HOA has all the rules, then that is something to look. And then as we grow in, we have the grandkids and everything else that mentioned, like the last point, which was one of the major reasons that a lot of people decided not to, because it's a strictly 55+ community. So that is something to look into it. I hope that my video brings in a lot of value for you. And if you are looking to buy that brand new home anywhere in Central Florida and the suburban, deeper Central Florida area, make sure to check out Orlando Home Show and Orlando Home Show in Espanol. There are several other 55+ communities scattered all throughout Central Florida area, not specifically the villages, but there is quite a bit in and around, which doesn't have that many rules and regulation, and maybe a better choice and more bang for your buck. So that is something to look into it. If you haven't watched my video on the Wildwood or the Lady Lake, make sure to do that. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I personally answer all the text messages and all the messages that I get on my YouTube channel. Make sure to follow us on TikTok. And if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to send this to someone else that you think will benefit from the information that I give here. Until the next video, thank you for watching, and bye for now.